Hello and welcome, as it is the completion of the 9th day of August, so moving into the 10th day 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel, where like always all bets, trades, and other like within each's own risk and their own reward. And I'm watching hockey as well as I'm doing the video. It is 8:11 p.m. Eastern time. I'm just now finally having an opportunity to make one. And it's at a time when the Leafs versus Columbus Blue Jackets game has literally just started 40 seconds into the game. So there might be a situation where I have to react towards the game, and I'll try my best not to. And if not much happens, of course, nothing will. But of course, I got my risk reward for that in fantasy hockey. I got a decent amount of risk, and I got a good potential and a very high advantage play for good reward. So anyway, just to go through on that situation, let's go over Bitcoin. And before all of this went down, the price action was just consolidating for quite some time. But it did so after this fantastic move, because we had this low back in March, and then we rallied from like under 4,000, consolidating between 6,000 up to like 7 even, and then a nice little gain up to 10, and we held the 8,000, 9,000, and then this breakout which occurred starting on July 26th and the 27th. Well, it's been holding fantastic thus far as I look at what the market has been doing since the move, and even since this little move in here, this little sideways consolidation, really holding this move. I don't see any large amount of sellers coming in, and when they did in here the first time, and it's just natural when you have a big uprise, you're going to retrace from key high to key low. But when you recover like you do here, retrace near previous high and then consolidate like that, ooh baby, this to me is looking pretty darn near spectacular. And then, of course, the long term on this is a breakout exitation of the 18 average of highs after consolidating within such in here, getting above multiple hit level of resistance near the 10,200 handle, and now just testing. It's in the low area of this range between 12,000 upward to about 13, 2/3 change, 13.5, 13.6 or 700 area. But that to me seems to be where this market is heading towards. Even in here, you had this little bit of selling, but buyers came back in yesterday's session, which was that of Saturday at 5 a.m. And it just basically went sideways, a little bit of a selling here, but the buyers regaining control and now showing a good bullish statement. Just this last 2-3 hours here. So to me, it looks as we go into Monday, that things are going to look pretty good, and a good opportunity for gains to follow. Next up is Tezos against Bitcoin. And the current price is in at 3,179 Satoshi against Bitcoin, which would be, well, it's like around 12,000 Bitcoin. Well, I look at that. Well, it's actually 31,000 Satoshi. There's 7 decimals. So that would be like, well, it'd be 317 in dollars if it was that of $10,000 Bitcoin, but it's 20% more. So we're like a $4 coin at this stage. And I know I could put the dollar chart up, but as I trade, I pretty much trade against Bitcoin. I know a lot of people do as well. I know they trade against the dollar as well, but I'm kind of, even though for trading purposes, not really, I kind of am, but I'm not anti against the dollar. But trading vehicle, whatever works for you, whatever works. I prefer trading against Bitcoin, and really not even. Bitcoin just needs to amend, or a means to an end. And that I'll trade Tezos. Like earlier, I sold some Tezos for Hedera. So I sold Tezos to Bitcoin, and then I bought Hedera from Bitcoin, and that to me is a ratio trade. But usually within these key Fibonacci, these levels pierce extra, and we can see just by looking at that looks like an exact hit. And right now it is. And as the market goes in here, it started off in here within these lows from near Halloween last year. Good gain higher, going from a little under 1,000 Satoshi or 10,000 Satoshi to 25, so a 2.5x move. A higher low retracement. It got by within retracement mode from this low to this high, got by this high to establish a much higher high at around 40,000 Satoshi. And at this 35,000 level, resistance in here, resistance here, resistance here. And you know what? It almost looks as if we're going to have another test of it. Most certainly, it's a break above the 18 average of highs on the daily term time frame. Viewing such on the single hour. And there's the lines in here. So the number, and usually they pierce extra, and I still think it will, but right now it's pierced less as it stands. For it came up here on the 1400 hour, 2 p.m. Eastern time. The high, and you can see the numbers on the top of the screen. The H stands at 32.41. So that was 5 basis points piercing less. And then on the 1700 timestamp, a high of 32.43. That's a 3-point differential within the numbers. And even from that moment on, red candle, just a little bit of a red candle down, then another one to go back to where we came from, pretty much supporting this area of resistance to a degree, but it most certainly did support above both of these highs at 29.77 and 30.53. So just a beautiful fact that it's after this sell-off in here, we're still seeing buyers coming into the market right now. So to me, that looks fantastic. Now my volume is not... yeah, so this to me doesn't look like this play is over. I wouldn't be surprised if it does break above this and we do test the next level. That might not happen, and we're going to have retracement mode at some point from key low to key high. But until then, I think the odds signify to me probability that it's going to be breaking out much, much higher. We can even see on the 50-minute term how we've established all of this support, a lot of these hits, and I just see within the last 3 periods in here how it had this nice little move. And I haven't even looked at the 1 minute. I didn't even look at the 15 before. I did do the other time frames before in the preparation. But nice. It's, yeah, one of those long choppy stands that retested this support of all this before. And the more times you test it, the more likely it is you take it out. But just a beautiful spot where it did support it well, because breakout here at 1957 or 757. Now, it might have been news with Johansson coming back in the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs, because that's what I do is I go over fantasy stuff and I just write these lines. And these are not hockey lines tonight, because it was supposed to be Zach Hyman, Matthews, and Marner. And this represents a power play number they're on. But it's actually Matthews, Marner, and Tavares on the first line. That's awesome. And then Robertson's not even playing, and Johansson is in the lineup, and he's a damn good player. But it also means that hardly anybody knows about it in the fantasy realm, and that if he goes off in a good game for me, risk-reward management for me, I would have a very, very good result. So I switched the topic for whatever. I would say a random reason, but I actually kind of just for whatever... I don't know why, I just thought, you know what, let's put that in at some sort of segment. Let's just throw in the lines, because this is the type of work I do. This is my betting on here, where I signify how many bets and where they go, and different codes for me. Stars represent something of note that I'm not going to state. Some are good, some are bad. They just are, we'll just say they're cheap players. And then I do my analysis. And I've, so far, since hockey started, I've got an okay decent amount of gains, about 4 figures so far. But I'm looking to make what I feel a large income doing this. But that means hockey's going to be around now. I mean, the playoffs start on Tuesday. I mean, this is just the bonus round. I remember thinking back in December, January, February, oh my goodness, I got a strategy for the playoffs. It's going to work so amazing. I know how, because I know how hockey box scores work, and I know all this type of stuff. And it's actually a more profitable game. And tonight's one of those spots where I think it comes into play. And when you have a different kind of game, which is playoff hockey versus regular season, it means game theory changes a little bit. And I know pretty much how well to adjust towards the situation. So I'm expecting to have good results coming forward. And I like it. It's one of those things where I make a game out of it. My ultimate goal with any type of bankroll management is always to increase my bankroll the highest I possibly can. That's the ultimate goal. Another one is getting the most rewards, which basically means you can get several hundreds of free dollars if you do things right, which is what I'm trying to do. Not the greatest, but not the worst of rewards. Probably about $800 for strategically plan the right games. And then another one is they have little buy-in games, because on game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, they're going to have a $15 buy-in, and this is like my bread and butter game to play. And I'm expecting major results. And what I do is I play what they call satellites, which is $1, 25 cent, and 10 cent games. I think it's 25 cent a dollar. I don't think there's dime games. And therefore, to get to a $15 Stanley Cup final game, and I've already won 8 of them coming into today, and hopefully in the Toronto Columbus I can win 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 more of them. But I want to win, because first round of the playoffs, second round, third round, I want to win like about 100, 150. Columbus just scored. It is 8:21 p.m. Eastern Time. Seth Jones, okay. Who did he play with? Wrensky? I got a little bit of play on them. That's not my big defenseman. Savarda's my big defenseman for Columbus. That's not good for the Leafs. Oh, a lot of wild comebacks in the game. Both games, teams came back from 3 goals down to win. Leafs are going to have to come back in this one as they are trailing 1-0. I do have a futures bet on the Leafs as well that I kind of want this game to go well. Also, it looks like it's Zach Werenski who scored the first goal at 7 minutes into the hockey game. All right. I didn't plan on going over that. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.